of the entry I took, why I took that, and so forth. But added to that, there is a huge lesson that I do want to share with you guys regarding this trade. So we're just going to go straight into things right now. All right, so let me move this out of my way. I can keep my face there. All right, so looking at this right here, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually go back into right before market open, which was right over here, right? So as you guys can see, I have my 4 hour, which is 41,893 based off of this right here. All right, so I have my 4 hour support. I have my 4 hour resistance. Now for my resistance is 42,767. I just took it from over here. So if you guys have seen my previous video, I also have the zone, which I had it from that high, and I just dragged it to that low. And all I did was base it off of this. I base it off of this high here, and then I base it off of this low, which is from this candle here. So it went from this high to this low, and I just dragged it to the future so you see how price was playing out with that. I'm going to take this get out of my way. All right, now back to the 15-minute time frame. So looking at this over here, we didn't have much news during London. Now, this trade, for starters, I normally post all my trades in my Discord, but this one I actually joined the trading room after I took the entry. So I'm not going to blast that. I'll let them know beforehand. But besides that, though, so again, looking at this, if we get a nice breakdown of what happened, we have a nice gap during market open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. From that, we can see we literally came up, retested this gap right here, which is very important. I'm going to put a line there so you guys can see why it's important. All right, I'll use this one. That's what I used it for. Right, I'm going to put a line there so you guys see why it's important. But we just came up. Price just came and retested that gap. And then last night, we're looking over this before we went to bed, and I was more so saying if we break this, more likely shit is going to tank. That was not the case. Even during London, all we did was come and retest that Friday move from 9:45 and 9:30 market open, so you guys can see exactly why we got here. Right, we just put a line right here, and y'all can see that more clearly. Boom, you see it more clearly why we got there. So looking at this, hold on, we're not there yet. 9 o'clock, 9:15. All right, so looking at this right here, I'm more so saying that at that point, I was looking for a price to completely drop. However, we did come and retest this. Now we are in a support. Two things that can happen. Price can either do this. Price can come up, retest this area, which we're currently at, right? Retest that area, and then after that, start dropping. First would be this stay profit, price going to begin, and then drop down some more. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is that price could literally just come up and continue going up, break out at 438, and then initially go back up. So at that point, what I did, I just dropped down to a lower time frame. So if you guys are not aware, when it comes to trading the Dow and I trade market open, I like to wait until more so between like 925 and like 928, 929, just so I have a better idea of what price wants to do. Now, overall, that's not going to always be the case in the sense of like, if that time frame actually comes about and there are no moves for me that fits my trading plan and my opportunity, I just don't take the trade. So we're going to drop down to a lower time frame, but you guys see exactly the lines I'm looking at. We drop down to a lower time frame. Looking at this right here, we can clearly see that price came to that support, right? We came up. You guys see it. We came to support, right? We came up, came back down. At this point, it's now showing that me that a double bottom is starting to show. However, it's not guaranteed. So now what I need to happen is this: in order for this to ensure that this is going to be a double bottom, I need to put this neckline in the break. Why? Because if we look even right over here, we can see that this right here was a break and retest. We came back down, but again, it's not confirmed until we get a break of this. So what I was waiting for, because you guys know I am a breakout trader, what I was waiting for was once price break out of this, more likely I'm going to take price going up. So market opened up, right? Literally started pushing. As soon as he started breaking past that, I clicked the button. I believe price put me in like somewhere over here. Understandable is because of spread. But at this point, I'm not great until we get a break of 438. Why? Because if it goes a higher time frame, that 438 was right here. So we know, oops, let me go back to this. So we know basically at 438, which is here, price has to break that to confirm that this is actually holding. It kind of head and shoulder inverted. This is actually holding, and more likely we'll break out of this, and we'll go to my take profit at 593. So we're going to drop back down to the minute time frame. Looking at this right here, right, and we're going to keep this going forward. So this price happens here, right? Huge push up. This is a minor resistance. Why? Because that right there is a major one. So at this point, I'm like, all right, no, I like it. As long as we stay above pretty much this candle push price up, we should be fine. This candle came up, and at this point, I'm like, shit, am I about to give away like 70 pips of profit at that time? I'm like, not sure if I ever want to do that. But then this had came up, price had pushed past over here, and at this point, we're still hovering here. So again, there's no true confirmation of what price wants to do in reference to is going up or going to start going back down. And then we just had to wait it, right? So like at this point, price came here. Again, even though we do see this, there's no true confirmation. Why? Because we have to break this to confirm that price is going to keep going up. This happened here. All right, at this point, we are retesting this. This is what? This is 934. I'm going to speed this up real quick so you guys can see. Now, one thing that irritated me about this trade, and I was one and done, and I'll tell you guys why. So I'm working on like bettering my entries when it comes to like, all right, I want to have 2, 3, 4 in multiple positions just so I can get better bang for my buck. What irritated me with this trade is that this breakout right here at 940, that right there should have been my second entry. But truthfully, I'm not gonna lie, they get a little bitched up, and I'm like, maybe not take this. Why? Because I saw a lot of rejection over here. Although I thought that was good with this trade, I'm like, I'm not too confident yet because what if price comes back down and then stops me out? Why? Because at the end of the day, we're still at that range, right? So I was saying to myself, like, if price breaks out of, I'll put a blue line. What if price breaks out of this, come back up to here, drop back down, and then continue moving forward? Or what if price comes up and then starts tanking? Because, there's no true news going on today, but there have been a lot of talks with China, US, and a trade deal and so forth. And then also Moody downgrade. I wasn't too confident that's going to be a little impact going on. Why? Because the technicals it wasn't really clear that we want to go up yet. However, again, I did have my take profit up to there. So if we go back to it, we can see like even if I take that, we're so close to it. I'm not too confident with that. So that right there was irritating me. So nonetheless, though, my take profit was hit. And I was telling the Discord as well, like I do think that price is actually going to break out of 500 and go up to the 4 hour, which is 677, which you guys can see exactly why I had decided to choose that. Right, we already spoke about that. So looking at this over here, yeah, that right there was a trade I had took. Obviously, we see I take profit is hit. And at that point, yeah, price is retesting. And it was actually like, are you going to take a trade? I'm like, honestly, guys, I am upset about this. It was multiple opportunities I had. I could have had this one. Could have had this one. I didn't really want to take this because we're so close to my take profit. But again, that just could have been the entry I had. And at that point, I believe like once we had a breakout of this here, yeah, once this was coming up, I'm like, guys, I don't even think that's going to hold. I think more likely price is going to continue going up, which eventually it did. We can see I have this box here. And I'll break it down in a quick second. But yeah, so because of that trade, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be one and done. It is what it is. And I'll just wait to another opportunity that presents itself. Now, that right there is very important. Why? Because like I could easily say, you know what? Damn, price just shot up. Let me just jump into the market. That right there is not good trading, right? That right there is a FOMO trade. And when it comes to trading, like no matter how great we are, a lot of us, not a lot of us, but we all deal with the same thing. It's like it's our discipline that holds us in and allows us to not take these I don't want to say aggressive trades because we have to utilize that to get better, but it's on us to not take the trades just because we feel that price is going to go up, right? Price can either confirm it to us, but we already know it's like we're so close to my take profit that at the end of the day, like I need to be risking like let's do the math on that one. Like I need to be risking about like 64 pips to catch 55. It's like it's not even a 1-on-1. That's not proper risk management for me. That's not how I trade. I don't do 1-on-1. So it just doesn't make any sense for us to even go that route. But nonetheless, though, yeah, we can actually play this out and see. I'm going to have this there purposely. Why? Because at the end of the day, right, price is not going to go all the way straight up. It has to come up, come down, and so forth. And all I was doing at that time, I'm just like showing you guys how the lower time frame is adding up to the higher time frame movement of price, right? So we go down to the minute time frame, we can see, right? We can see price coming up, right? Holding on resistance, came up here. You guys can see that rejection of this area. Right, we came up, resistance. So at this point, you're not great, right? You're literally, this is consolidation. We're from here into here, we're just back and forth. 1 and 2 have to break out. There's no true breakout. Even this price is holding. We came back down. We haven't broken structure, which is that support. Right, we can see if we come to it, how it held. One more time, we're holding on support. Now, at this point, you can clearly see that price wants to go up. However, again, even if you take this buy or anything that you decide to do so, you're not great until you have a break of that resistance. Why? Because that's also showing that structure, right? So this happens, nice double bottom on this, right? So at that point, what I did, I pulled it from this high. From this low, this high, back to the future. We can see how I retested off of that one. Hold on here as well. Again, this right here is a high time frame resistance, which was based off the 15-minute. So now we can see the details that makes up this right here. Drop back down to the minute time frame, and we're gonna let this play out. This right here is 11:35. Let's pull up some more. So even from this, all right, we can see at 11:38, it shows us that we're now showing that we're breaking out of this. This right here literally is mimicking this trade over here we took this morning. And then from there, we can see after that, price just wanted to keep going up. Right, break and retest. Bring it. Come on, hurry up. Here we go. Break and let me just do it this way. Break and retest, and then from there, why is it as well? There we go. And from there, we can actually see price going up and eventually get into that higher time frame, right? So I'll take this off real quick. So looking at this over here, going back into where we're just at, you can clearly see how price is showing us that this is pure structure. I'm going to just take all this off real quick so you guys can see that pure structure. Price came up, came back down, retested this, right here. You guys can clearly see that. After that, showing you price wants to continue going up. But now at this point, let's just say you wait for this to fully break out. Truthfully, the best breakout, looking at this over here, I mean, you can choose this one. Structure-wise, you'll still be great. Why? Because let's say you took that buy right there when that candle closed, right? Your stop loss would be below structure, which is based off of this. Higher time frame resistance would be here. What would your take profit be at? So even with that trade right there, right, you're risking about like 51 pips. And honestly, you don't even have to risk that much. You're risking 51 pips to catch 104. That right there is about a 1 or 2. Not a bad trade. Worst case scenario, you would have been down about like 24, 25 pips. And we didn't even break this because the truly best one being like right over here. Why? Because we can clearly see we just retested this part. Price came already touched this over here with this candle. So at that point, we should continue going up. So you don't have to risk that much. But just giving that idea aspect of that. I hope this was beneficial for you guys to have, a better input on not how I trade. It's the same setup over and over. You watch the rest of my videos, but more so how allowing patience to help you all become a better trader. And then also realizing that like, all right, you may be in an emotional state of mind. So when that happens, it's best to walk away and not take any trades. Why? Because at the end of the day, everything is based off of probability, not certainty. All right, guys, I hope this video is beneficial for you. Leave a comment below, like the video, share with friends and loved ones. And until next time, guys, peace out.